Good morning, world history. So this video is to walk you guys through the assignments that I posted this morning. You're going to notice that there are two assignments that were posted. One is called Snapshot Autobiography, and the other one is called Evidence Charts. You'll notice that both are not due today. One is due tomorrow. The Snapshot Autobiography is due tomorrow to give you a little bit of time to, number one, identify the person you want to interview for that and to actually be able to talk to them. The other is the evidence charts for the lunchroom fight mini project, and you'll be using those to put your video together next week. So you'll work on part of that evidence chart assignment today, and you'll work on the rest next week. So here we go. So first and foremost, your warm-up question for today. Your warm-up question is posted on Google Classroom along with this video. So think about the story from your early childhood that you wrote about yesterday. Number one, how do you know the story of this life event? If you don't have a complete memory of what happens, did you find out from other people telling you, from home videos, from pictures you might have seen, what have you? Number two, what evidence do you have to back up the story? So if you were to try to back that up now, who would corroborate that for you, or what sources, like I said, videos, pictures, would you use? And then finally, how might someone else remember this story? So the first assignment that is due, again, this is not due today. This is due by tomorrow, September 4th at 11:59 p.m. This is an assignment called Snapshot Autobiography. So you, again, are going to choose somebody in your life, either that you possibly live with or someone that you can call to talk to them about their version of events. So I'm going to want you to tell me the name of the person that you chose, their relationship to you, the event from your autobiography that they will be corroborating, and corroborate means cross-checking. This is where you're going to write down their version, interview notes. So as they're talking to you about the story from your early childhood, this is where you're just going to jot down your notes about their version of events. And these are the two biggest questions that I'm most concerned about for this assignment. Number one, what do the two stories have in common? And number two, what is different about them? So for these last two questions, I want you to be as detailed as possible. Please at least write 2 sentences for each of these last questions. So in this assignment, you'll notice that I have linked these sources. I asked you to look at these a couple days ago, and this is just for your reference on what occurred. Remember the fictional fight that happened in the cafeteria between Xander and Julio, and people's accounts of what happened. So these are the sources you will be using. So the sources refer to the people's testimonies of what occurred in the lunchroom. You need to think about 3 different questions that are all related. First of all, what was happening in the community that led to tension between Xander and Julio? Second is, what was Xander and Julio's relationship like before the fight? So they weren't just 2 strangers that just happened to get into it. They had a bit of a history before then. So what was that history like? And finally, what actually happened during the fight itself. So we are going to focus on these first 2 charts today, what was happening in the community and what Xander and Julio's relationship was like before the fight. So you'll see for both evidence charts, it says evidence 1 and evidence 2. What the heck does that mean? So that means you have to choose 2 different people from that source list that talk about what was happening in the community that laid the groundwork for Xander and Julio having some tension. So some people that talked about that include Julio's mother, Xander's father, and Mr. Rakiki. For each one of those people, let's say that you chose Xander's father and Mr. Rakiki. You're just going to write their names underneath. So the first part of the chart is contextualization. What was happening in the town that might have led to this fight? So what was happening according to Xander's father, and what was happening according to Mr. Rakiki? And by the way, you can also use Julio's mom if you want to. Close reading. What does the person's word choice reveal about his or her perspective? So does it seem like they are taking sides on who started the fight or what? Then sourcing. Who said that, and what is this person's relationship to the students in the fight? And then that last one is a bit of your opinion. So based on all the information that you had gathered in the previous 3 columns, would you say that this is a trustworthy source or not? And once you complete the chart, you are then going to say, based on those 2 sources, who started the fight and why? Then you're going to do the same thing for people that talked about Xander and Julio's relationship before the fight. So some people that you might be able to use are Xander and Julio themselves, Sharif, Angelo, and Jasmine, Julio's girlfriend. So again, choose any of those 2 people. What's been happening in the rest of the school. For instance, what were Xander and Julio's interactions like in world history class? What does the word choice reveal about their perspective? Again, does it seem like the person is taking sides, or if they're just kind of neutral? The person's relationship to the people in the fights. And then finally, do you believe the source is trustworthy or not? So I know that's a lot of information that I went over in this video. As I mentioned on Tuesday, please feel free to pause this video, rewatch it, watch it as many times as you need. And if you need my assistance, I am more than happy to hop on Google Meet with anyone today. You also can reach me on Remind or through email. And don't forget, we do not have school tomorrow or Monday. You have a nice 4-day weekend. So the next time that I will see you is on Wednesday. Important announcement, starting next week for live instruction, we're going the full period. We're not going to be split into groups anymore. So I will post an announcement on Google Classroom reminding you of that. So you will be reporting to Google Meet at the start of your assigned period on Wednesday. I hope everyone has a wonderful Thursday and a wonderful long weekend. And please let me know if you have any questions or concerns.